Mina was a young girl who lived in a small village at the edge of a wide, green forest. Her home was a tiny, old house made of wood and clay. It was not a fancy place, and sometimes the roof would leak when it rained. But Mina's home was full of love because she lived there with her mother, who was kind but often very weak from illness. Every morning, Mina woke up early. The sun was not yet high in the sky, and the village was quiet except for the sounds of birds singing and the soft footsteps of people beginning their day. Mina would put on her only pair of shoes. They were old and worn out. The soles were thin, and the leather was cracked. Sometimes, when it rained, water would get inside, and her feet would get wet. But Mina did not complain. She wore those shoes every day because she had no other. After putting on her shoes, Mina packed a small basket. Inside, she carefully placed the cloth dolls she had made by hand. Each doll was simple but beautiful. Mina used bright threads to sew small dresses for them, and she gave each doll a tiny smile stitched with red thread. The dolls were her special work, and she hoped to sell them at the market to buy medicine for her mother. The village market was a busy place every morning. Farmers brought fresh vegetables and fruits, and people came to sell bread, cheese, and other goods. There were children running around, shouting happily, and women talking as they chose what to buy for their families. Mina liked to watch the lively market, but she felt nervous too. Many people had money, and she knew that her dolls were small and not very expensive. Sometimes, people would say, "These dolls are nice, but I want something bigger or newer." That made Mina's heart sink, but she never gave up. On this particular morning, the sky was gray. Thick clouds had gathered, and a cold wind blew through the village. The market was busier than usual because people wanted to finish their shopping before the rain came. Mina set her basket down near a wooden stall and sat on the edge of the stone road. She looked at the dolls, arranging them carefully, hoping someone would buy them. Suddenly, she noticed an old man standing by the side of the road. He looked tired and slow. His clothes were simple but clean, and he wore a straw hat that covered most of his face. He held a wooden cane in one hand and looked around as if he was unsure where to go. Mina watched him for a moment. He seemed like someone who needed help. Without thinking twice, Mina stood up and walked over to him. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly. "Do you need help?" The old man looked at her with tired eyes and nodded slowly. "I do," he said in a quiet voice. "I need to cross the street, but my legs don't work well anymore." Mina smiled gently. "I can help you," she said. She offered him her arm, and he took it carefully. Mina felt the old man's arm was weak, and he leaned on her as they began to cross the busy street. The road was not smooth. There were small stones, puddles from the morning dew, and deep grooves made by carts. Mina took small steps, careful not to trip. People hurried past them, some smiling kindly, others too busy to notice. The old man's cane tapped softly on the stones, and Mina listened to the sound as they moved forward. Halfway across the street, the first drops of rain began to fall. They were small and cold. Mina pulled her thin shawl tighter around her shoulders but did not stop walking. "Are you not afraid of the rain?" the old man asked, his voice gentle. Mina looked up at the gray sky. "No," she said with a small smile. "I have walked through much worse than rain." The old man smiled back. "You are brave, little one." Finally, they reached the other side of the road. Mina helped the man sit down on a wooden bench under a large tree. The rain began to fall harder, and the wind picked up. "Thank you, child," the old man said. "Most people ignore old men like me. You have a kind heart." Mina shook her head. "It was nothing. I hope you get home safe." The old man looked at her carefully. There was something in his eyes that made Mina feel special, but she didn't know why. "I live just a little way from here," he said. "I will rest a moment, then continue. Mina nodded and smiled. Then she turned and walked back toward the market. Her shoes made soft splashes in the wet mud. As she walked away, she did not notice the old man watching her with a quiet smile on his face. At that moment, no one in the village knew who the old man really was. But he was more than just an old man with a cane. He was a man whose name carried weight, a man who owned the largest farm in the region, with fields stretching beyond the horizon. But for Mina, he was just a tired stranger who needed help. And for the first time in many days, Mina felt a little lighter in her heart. The rain grew heavier as Mina made her way back to the market. Her shoes were soaked, and the cold water had made her feet numb, but she didn't mind. The old man's words stayed in her mind, like a warm light on a gray day. Most people ignore old men like me, he had said. Mina thought about this as she looked around the busy market. Many people hurried by without noticing others. Sometimes, even she felt invisible in the crowd. She sat back by her basket of dolls, hoping that someone would stop and look. Her hands moved quickly, arranging the dolls in a neat line. The colors of the dolls seemed brighter against the dark, wet street. Suddenly, a gentle voice broke through the noise of the market. "Excuse me, young lady." Mina looked up and saw the old man from before standing near the edge of the market square. His hat was off now, and his white hair glistened with rain. His eyes were kind and full of gratitude. "Did you get home safe?" Mina asked quietly. The old man nodded. "Yes, thank you to your help." Mina smiled shyly. "I'm glad." The rain slowed, and a small rainbow appeared in the sky. People paused to look, and Mina felt a little hopeful. The old man walked closer. "I wanted to say something important." Mina listened carefully. "You helped me when I needed it most. Many people would have ignored me or walked away. But you stopped. You gave me your hand and your time. That is a rare and special thing." Mina's cheeks grew warm. "I just wanted to help." The old man's smile grew wider. "Sometimes, small acts change big things. You reminded me of something I had almost forgotten." Mina tilted her head. "What did you forget?" He looked far away for a moment. "How kindness feels. How much it matters." Mina thought about her mother, who was sick and needed medicine. She wished she could do more to help her. "I hope your kindness comes back to you," she said softly. The old man nodded again. "It will. And maybe I can help you too." Mina looked at him in surprise. "Me? How?" He reached into his coat and pulled out a small cloth bag. From it, he took a few coins and placed them gently in Mina's hand. "Use this for your mother's medicine," he said. Mina's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to say thank you, but words did not come easily. "Please," the old man said, "it is not a gift. It is a promise that kindness returns." At that moment, the market bell rang, signaling the end of the morning trading. Vendors began packing up their stalls, and the crowd started to thin. Mina looked at the coins again. They were more than she had ever held at once. "Thank you," she finally said, her voice steady. The old man tipped his hat and smiled. "Take care, Mina." Before she could ask how he knew her name, he had turned and walked away slowly, his cane tapping softly on the stones. Mina watched him go, feeling a strange mix of hope and wonder. Back at home, Mina's mother was sitting by the window, wrapped in a thin blanket. She looked tired, but her eyes brightened when Mina entered with the coins. "Mina, where did you find this?" her mother asked, holding the money carefully. Mina told her about the old man and how she had helped him cross the street. Her mother smiled weakly. "You have a good heart, my child. The world needs more people like you." Together, they counted the coins and planned how to buy the medicine that could help her mother feel stronger. That night, Mina lay on her thin mattress and thought about the old man. Who was he? Why did he trust her so much? She had many questions but no answers. The next morning, Mina returned to the market with new hope. She felt lighter, as if a small weight had been lifted from her shoulders. As she arranged her dolls, she noticed people looking at her differently. Some smiled warmly, others stopped to talk. But Mina's thoughts were elsewhere. She wanted to find the old man again. Days passed, and Mina continued to help her mother and sell her dolls. She noticed something strange in the village. People spoke in quiet voices about the old man. Did you hear? Old man Hari is back. He owns the largest farm in the region now. People say he is very rich and kind. Mina heard these words but didn't say anything. She thought about the old man she helped. Could he be Hari? She wasn't sure. One afternoon, as the sun began to set and the sky turned pink and orange, Mina saw a group of men talking near the market. She heard the name Hari several times. Curiosity made her step closer, but the men noticed her and stopped talking. Mina felt shy and walked away quickly. That evening, as she sat by her mother's bedside, she wondered about the old man's story. Was he really a wealthy farmer? Why had he come back to the village? She decided that when she saw him again, she would ask. A few days later, Mina was walking near the edge of the village when she saw a small, worn path leading toward the fields. She remembered the old man's slow walk and thought maybe he lived nearby. With quiet steps, she followed the path, the tall grass brushing her legs. At the end of the path, she saw a small farmhouse hidden behind tall trees. She stood quietly, feeling the warm sunlight on her face. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. It was the old man. "You found my home," he said with a gentle laugh. Mina smiled. "I wanted to see where you live." He looked around and then invited her inside. The farmhouse was old but clean. The walls were decorated with pictures of fields and crops. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. The old man sat down and said, "Would you like some tea?" Mina nodded. As they sat together, the old man began to tell stories about the farm, the animals, and the seasons. His voice was calm and kind. Mina listened, fascinated. She realized this was not just any old man. He was someone special. And their meeting was not by chance. Days passed after Mina's visit to the old man's farmhouse. She felt a strange but warm feeling every time she thought about him. His quiet voice, the smell of fresh bread, and the stories of the farm stayed in her mind. But the villagers were starting to talk. Rumors spread quickly like the wind in the fields. "Old man Hari is back," people whispered in the market. "He owns more land than anyone else now. He has money and power." Mina listened carefully to the rumors but kept them to herself. She wasn't sure if the old man she helped was really Hari. He never told her much about himself. He only smiled and talked about kindness and hard work. One morning, Mina woke early as usual. She dressed quickly, trying to keep her shoes dry from the wet grass. Today, she planned to visit the farmhouse again. Her mother watched her, her eyes full of concern. "Be careful, Mina," she said softly. "That man might be important. Not everyone in the village will like him coming back." Mina nodded. "I will be careful, mother." The sun was still low when Mina walked down the quiet path toward the farmhouse. The air smelled fresh and sweet with morning dew. Birds sang softly in the trees. When she arrived, the old man was already outside, tending to a small garden. He looked up and smiled when he saw her. "Good morning, Mina," he said kindly. "I am glad you came." Mina smiled back. "Good morning, sir. May I help you in the garden today?" The old man nodded. "That would be wonderful." Mina rolled up her sleeves and began to pull weeds and water the plants. The soil was soft and warm between her fingers. The old man told her stories about each plant, how they grew and how important they were for the farm. As they worked, Mina noticed something strange. The old man had a calm but strong presence. He moved slowly but carefully, like someone who knew exactly what to do. After a while, they sat on the porch and drank fresh tea. The old man looked at Mina with kind eyes. "Do you want to know why I came back to this village?" he asked quietly. Mina nodded, curious. "I left here many years ago," he began. "I wanted to find a better life for myself. I worked hard and saved every coin. I bought land, and slowly, the farm grew." He paused, looking at the green fields around them. "But I miss this place. I miss the people. I miss the kindness that I once knew." Mina listened closely. "I came back not to show my wealth, but to remember what is important. To remind myself that money is nothing without kindness." Mina felt a warm feeling in her chest. She looked down at her hands. "You have been very kind to me," the old man said softly. "You helped a tired stranger without asking anything in return." Mina smiled shyly. "I did what anyone should do." The old man laughed quietly. "No, not everyone does. You are special." Mina felt shy but happy. Suddenly, a loud sound came from the village. The distant voice of men talking, their voices angry and loud. The old man frowned and stood up. "I must go," he said. "There are people who do not want me here." Mina looked worried. "Why?" The old man shook his head. "Because of money, power, and fear. But I will not leave. This village is my home." Mina wanted to say something, but the old man was already walking away. She ran after him, holding his arm. "Please be careful," she said. He smiled. "I will, Mina. Thank you for caring." That evening, Mina returned to the village with a heavy heart. She thought about the old man and the strange feelings in the village. People had always looked down on her because she was poor. Now, she saw that even a rich man could be treated unfairly. Mina's mother asked gently, "Did you learn more about him?" Mina nodded. "He is not just rich. He is kind and brave." Her mother smiled softly. "Kindness and courage are the most important things in life." Mina agreed. The next day, Mina went to the market. She noticed that some people whispered and pointed at her when she passed. She heard one woman say, "That poor girl is spending time with old man Hari. What does she want from him?" Mina kept walking, not answering. She knew that the old man had secrets, but she did not care about the gossip. She only cared about the kindness he showed. A few days later, Mina received a small letter. It was simple and written in careful handwriting. "Dear Mina," it said. "I want to thank you again for your kindness. Please visit me whenever you like. You are always welcome." The letter was signed with the name Hari. Mina held the letter close. She felt proud and happy. Someone as important as Hari had noticed her kindness. That evening, Mina sat by the window, looking at the stars. She wondered about the future, hers, her mother's, and the old man's. She hoped that with kindness and courage, things could change for the better. From that day, Mina visited the farmhouse often. She worked alongside Hari and learned about farming, animals, and life. The villagers began to see Mina in a new light, not just as the poor girl, but as someone connected to the kind old man with a big heart. Mina's days were busy, but her spirit was strong. She knew that no matter what happened, kindness was a seed that could grow into something beautiful. And she was ready to help it grow. The days were growing warmer, and the village was beginning to bloom with the colors of spring. Mina felt lighter in her heart each morning, waking with hope and a small smile. She had been visiting Hari's farmhouse regularly, helping in the fields, learning about the plants, and listening to his gentle stories. Her mother's health was slowly improving too, thanks to the medicine Hari had helped provide. One afternoon, as Mina was finishing her work in the garden, she heard a soft knock at the door of her small cottage. It was late, and the sun was beginning to set, casting golden light through the window. Mina wiped her hands on her apron and hurried to open the door. Standing there was a familiar figure, the old man, Hari. His eyes were kind, but there was something serious in his face that made Mina's heart beat faster. "Sir," Mina said softly, stepping aside to let him in, "what brings you here today?" Hari removed his hat and smiled gently. "I came to see you and your mother. I hope I am not disturbing you." Mina shook her head. "No, please come in." Inside the little cottage, the walls were bare, but the small space was filled with warmth from the fire. Mina's mother sat on a wooden chair near the window, wrapped in a thin blanket. Her face looked pale, but she smiled weakly when she saw Hari. "Good evening, madam," Hari said, bowing his head slightly. "Good evening, sir," her mother replied softly. Hari took a seat on a small stool near the fire and looked around the room. "This is where you live?" he asked gently. Mina nodded. "Yes. It is not much, but it is home." Hari's eyes softened. "I want to help make your home better." Mina looked at him, surprised. "But you have already helped us so much." Hari smiled. "There is something more I want to offer, if you will allow me." Mina's mother looked at her daughter with tired eyes. "Mina, maybe this is the answer we have been waiting for." Mina nodded slowly. "What is it, sir?" Hari reached into his coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Mina took it carefully in her hands. It was a deed, a legal paper that gave Mina and her mother the right to a small house in the village, with a garden and clean water. Mina's eyes filled with tears. "This is too much," she whispered. Hari shook his head. "It is not too much. It is a gift from one heart to another." Mina looked at her mother, who was now crying quietly. Hari continued, "I want you to have a safe place to live. A place where your mother can rest and you can dream." Mina felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. For so long, she had worried about the leaking roof and the cold nights. Now, there was hope. "Thank you," Mina said, her voice breaking. "I don't know how to repay you." Hari smiled. "Kindness is its own reward." For a moment, the room was quiet except for the crackling fire. Then, Hari spoke again. "There is something else." Mina looked at him, curious. "I would like to offer you work on the farm," Hari said. "You have a good heart and strong hands. I think you could help many people." Mina's eyes widened. "Work? But I have only sold my dolls." Hari laughed softly. "Everyone starts somewhere. You have already helped me more than you know." Mina thought of her mother's illness and the days when she had no money for food. This could change everything. "I will try," she said. Hari stood and helped Mina's mother stand as well. "We will face this together." As Hari left that evening, Mina felt a new kind of hope inside her, a hope that grew stronger than fear or sadness. The next morning, Mina walked to the new house with her mother. It was small but sturdy, with fresh paint on the walls and a garden waiting to bloom. The neighbors smiled kindly as they passed by, welcoming them into the village with open arms. Mina spent the day cleaning and arranging their new home. For the first time in years, she felt peace. That evening, Hari came to visit again. He brought a small gift, a basket of fresh vegetables from his farm. "Your garden will grow well here," he said. "And I will teach you how to care for it." Mina smiled. "Thank you, sir." From that day, Mina began her work at the farm. Every morning, she rose with the sun and joined Hari's workers in the fields. She learned how to plant seeds, care for animals, and harvest crops. The work was hard, but Mina felt proud. She was helping her mother and building a better life. At the farm, Mina met other workers who became friends. They laughed, shared stories, and supported each other through long days. Mina often thought about the day she helped the old man cross the street, how a simple act had changed everything. One afternoon, as Mina rested by the farmhouse after a long day, Hari sat beside her. "You have done well," he said quietly. "You have strength and kindness. That is rare." Mina looked at him, feeling shy but happy. "Thank you for believing in me," she said. Hari smiled. "It is you who gave me faith again." Mina felt tears in her eyes. "I will never forget what you have done," she whispered. Hari took her hand gently. "Nor I, you." As the weeks passed, Mina's life changed in many ways. The village began to see her not as the poor girl with worn shoes, but as a young woman with hope and courage. She was no longer afraid of the future. Because she knew that kindness, no matter how small, could open doors and light the darkest paths. And Mina was ready to walk forward. The village was changing. With Hari's return and Mina's growing strength, there was a new feeling in the air. Hope was spreading, but not everyone was happy. Some villagers whispered behind closed doors. They were jealous and afraid of the old man who had come back with money and power. They didn't like that he helped Mina, the poor girl, or that she was now part of his world. One morning, Mina woke up to find the village square crowded. People were gathered, talking loudly and looking angry. She felt nervous as she walked closer. Hari was there too, standing calmly near the old wooden well. His face was serious but peaceful. He looked ready to listen, not fight. A man stepped forward. His name was Balram, a farmer who owned many fields but was unhappy with Hari's return. "You have changed things here," Balram said loudly. "You bring money and power. You give gifts to poor families. But what about us? What about those of us who have lived here all our lives?" The crowd murmured. Some nodded in agreement. Others looked worried. Hari spoke gently. "I understand your feelings. Change is hard. But I am not here to take from anyone. I want to help this village grow stronger for everyone." Balram shook his head. "Help? Or control? Who will listen to us if you decide what is best?" Mina stood quietly at Hari's side. She felt the eyes of the crowd on her. Suddenly, a woman called out, "What about Mina? She was poor and alone, and now she has a home and work. Do you want to take that away too?" The villagers grew quiet. Hari looked at Mina and smiled softly. "Mina's story is one of many. I want all families here to have hope, a safe place, food, work, and kindness." The man Balram frowned but said nothing more. The village elder stepped forward, raising his hands for peace. "Let us not fight. Let us find a way to work together." The crowd slowly began to calm. After the meeting, Mina walked beside Hari along the dusty path toward the farmhouse. "Do you think they will accept you?" she asked quietly. Hari looked ahead. "Change is slow. But every seed needs time to grow." Mina thought about the old man's words. She had seen how hard life could be in the village. People were afraid to lose what little they had. "We must show them kindness," she said. "Like you said before." Hari smiled. "Yes, kindness is the strongest seed." The next weeks were busy. Mina worked hard on the farm and helped her mother settle into their new home. She also began visiting the village more, talking to neighbors, sharing stories, and listening to their worries. Slowly, some villagers began to trust Hari and Mina. They saw how much the farm's success helped the whole village: new jobs, fresh food, and clean water. One day, while helping in the market, Mina heard a young boy crying near a fruit stall. She knelt beside him. "What is wrong?" "My mother is sick," he sobbed. "We have no medicine." Mina's heart ached. She took the boy's hand and promised to help. She went to Hari, who immediately gave her some medicine and money for the boy's family. "That is what I mean by kindness," Hari said. "Helping those in need." Meena smiled, feeling proud. As the season changed, Meena's relationship with the villagers grew stronger. She became a symbol of hope, a bridge between the old and the new. One afternoon, as Meena was working in the fields, Balram came to speak with her. "I have been thinking," he said slowly. "Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you and Hari want good for the village." Meena nodded. "It is not easy, but we can work together." Balram smiled slightly. "I will try." That evening, Meena returned home feeling tired but happy. Her mother was waiting with warm tea and a gentle smile. "You have done well, Meena," her mother said. "You are growing stronger every day." Meena hugged her mother. "I want to help everyone, mother. Just like Hari helps us." Her mother looked at her with pride. "You have a kind heart." A few days later, Meena received another letter from Hari. "Dear Meena," it read. "Thank you for your courage and kindness. The village is slowly changing because of you. Keep believing in kindness, it will lead the way." Meena held the letter close, feeling a new fire inside her. She was ready for the challenges ahead. Because she knew that with kindness, courage, and hope, even the darkest days could become brighter. The days were growing shorter, and the sky often turned dark with heavy clouds. The village had started to prepare for the coming rain and cold weather. Meena was working hard on Hari's farm, learning more every day. She felt stronger and more confident with each passing moment. But the peaceful days would soon face a test. One afternoon, while Meena was helping gather vegetables from the field, the wind suddenly picked up. The sky darkened quickly, and heavy drops of rain began to fall. "Storm is coming," Hari shouted to the workers. "Hurry, bring in the animals and cover the crops." Everyone hurried to protect the farm. Meena ran to help the workers tie the animals in the barn. The rain was falling faster now, and thunder roared in the distance. Meena's heart pounded. She looked around and saw the dark clouds swallowing the sky. The storm was fierce and fast. Suddenly, a loud crack broke the air. A tree near the barn fell with a heavy crash, blocking the path to the fields. Hari's face grew serious. The rain could damage the crops. "We must act quickly." Meena's hands were shaking, but she stayed calm. "I will help," she said. Together, they worked through the storm, carrying supplies, moving animals, and covering plants with cloths. The rain soaked them to the bone, but Meena didn't stop. She thought about her mother waiting at home, and about the villagers who depended on the farm. Hours passed before the storm finally calmed. The sky slowly cleared, and the sun peeked through the clouds. Hari looked at the farm with tired eyes. "We saved much, but there is still work to do." Meena nodded. "We will repair everything, step by step." That evening, Meena returned home, cold and wet but filled with a strange kind of pride. Her mother wrapped a warm blanket around her and gave her hot tea. "You are strong, Meena," her mother said softly. "Not just in your body, but in your heart." Meena smiled, feeling the warmth inside her grow. The next morning, the villagers gathered to help with the farm repairs. Many came with tools, others brought food and blankets. The storm had reminded them that they were stronger when they worked together. Balram, the farmer who had once opposed Hari, approached Meena. "I underestimated you," he said quietly. "You bring people together." Meena looked at him, surprised. "We are all part of this village." Balram nodded. "I want to help too." With new hope, Meena worked side by side with the villagers. They fixed fences, planted new seeds, and cleaned the barns. Hari watched with pride as Meena led the group with kindness and courage. One afternoon, while Meena was resting under a tree, Hari sat beside her. "You have grown much," he said. Meena smiled. I have learned from you. Hari looked at the distant hills. You remind me of someone from long ago. A girl who believed in kindness, even when the world was hard. Mina's eyes widened. Who was she? Hari sighed softly. My mother. She taught me that kindness is the true strength. Mina felt a deep respect for Hari. I want to be like her. You already are, Hari said with a gentle smile. Days turned into weeks, and the farm began to flourish again. The village felt alive with new energy. One morning, Mina received news that her mother's health had improved greatly. The medicine and care were working. Mina felt tears of joy. Thank you, Hari, she whispered. Hari smiled. Your kindness brought this change. But life is never without challenges. One day, a stranger came to the village. He was a man in a fine coat, carrying papers and a stern face. He introduced himself as a lawyer from the city. I have come with news, the man said. There is a problem with the farm's land. Someone claims that it belongs to them, not Hari. The villagers murmured in worry. Hari listened calmly. We will face this with truth. The lawyer explained that the land had been sold many years ago by a man who did not have the right to sell it. If the claim was true, the farm and everything on it could be taken away. Mina's heart sank. The farm was not just land, it was hope for the whole village. Hari placed a hand on Mina's shoulder. We will fight this together. That night, Mina sat by the fire with her mother. She held her mother's hand and promised, no matter what happens, we will keep our kindness and courage. Her mother smiled weakly. I believe in you, Mina. The next days were filled with meetings, talks, and preparations. Hari contacted old friends and lawyers to help prove the farm belonged to him. Mina helped by visiting neighbors and gathering stories of the farm's history. The village came together to support them. One evening, as Mina walked home from the market, she saw the old man who had helped her family, the stranger who had once been lonely. He smiled and said, remember, Mina, even the hardest storms pass. Kindness and courage will guide you. Mina nodded, feeling stronger than ever. The future was uncertain, but Mina knew one thing clearly, no matter what challenges came, kindness and hope would light their way. And with Hari and the village beside her, she was ready to face whatever came next. The village was quiet early one morning, but Mina's heart was full of worry and hope. Today was the day the court would decide about the farm's land. Hari, Mina, and many villagers had come to the town's small courthouse. Everyone waited nervously. Mina looked at Hari. His face was calm but serious. She held his hand tightly, feeling his strength. Inside the courtroom, the lawyer from the city spoke loudly. This land belongs to my client. The current owner has no right. Hari's lawyer stood up and spoke clearly, the land was bought with honesty and years of hard work. Many villagers have lived and worked here for decades. One by one, villagers came forward to tell their stories. They spoke of the old man's kindness, the farm's help to the village, and the hard work Hari had done. Mina watched as Balram, the farmer who once doubted Hari, stood and said, I support Hari. He is good for our village. The judge listened carefully. After long hours, he finally spoke. This court recognizes the rightful owner of the land as Hari, based on the evidence and community testimony. A quiet cheer rose from the villagers. Mina smiled, tears in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered to Hari. Hari nodded. This is not just for me, but for all of us. After the court, the village celebrated. There was laughter, music, and a feast. Mina felt happiness like never before. The farm was safe, the village was united, and hope was alive. That evening, Mina walked home with her mother. Their new house shone softly in the moonlight. Mina felt peace. Sitting by the fire, Mina's mother held her hand. You have changed so much, Mina. You are brave and kind. Mina smiled. I learned from you, mother. And from Hari. Her mother's eyes sparkled. You have a bright future. Days turned into weeks. The farm grew stronger, and Mina's work became more important. She helped teach others, cared for animals, and planted new crops. One morning, Hari called Mina to the farmhouse porch. I want to tell you something, he said. Mina listened closely. My time in this village has given me new purpose. But I am getting old. I want you to take care of the farm one day. Mina's eyes widened. Me? But I am just learning. Hari smiled kindly. You have the heart and strength. You will be a good leader. Mina felt proud and nervous. I will try my best. In the following months, Mina worked even harder. She learned about farming, managing workers, and helping the village grow. The villagers began to trust her, and Mina felt part of something bigger than herself. One afternoon, Balram came to Mina with a small basket of fresh fruit. You are doing well, Mina, he said. The village is better because of you. Mina smiled. Thank you, Balram. I want to keep helping. Mina often thought about the day she helped the old man cross the street. That small act had changed her life forever. She realized that kindness was powerful. It could open doors, heal wounds, and create new beginnings. One evening, as the sun set over the fields, Hari and Mina stood together watching the sky. Thank you, Hari, Mina said softly. For everything. Hari placed his hand gently on hers. Thank you, Mina. You have given me hope too. The sky turned golden, full of promise. Mina knew that whatever the future held, kindness, courage, and hope would guide her steps. And she was ready to face the new day.